Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm going to review the film Cat's Eye. It is one of Stephen King's first screenplays from what I know of. It's an anthology story, kind of like the film Creepshow. Instead, this time it's actually just three stories instead of like four or five stories, like most of these anthology stories are. Um, so in Cat's Eye, you guys, we have three stories that all involve a cat that wanders the land and is a part of these events in these stories. In the first story, we get James Woods trying to be he's trying to quit smoking. He's this really avid smoker, and he goes to this Quitters Inc. that they go to extreme lengths to make sure that you quit smoking. Um, and so he kind of gets his at the end with all that. He basically, it's very hard for him to quit, and he's trying to figure out, if he can sneak in a smoke or if he can, get away with it once. So that story is all about that. The second story deals with a guy who got in trouble with these two criminals, and as punishment, he has to climb this ledge over by this big hotel that's really high up in the sky. And if he falls, he's pretty much dead. And so he has to climb all the ledge around the whole building, and then the guys will let him go. Um, and the cat is once again involved with that story. Then the third and final story of the film, you guys, we get Drew Barrymore as this. This is back when she. This is actually 3 years, I believe, after E.T. So she was still a very young girl back when this was made. Um, she, sees this new cat in her neighborhood, and it's the cat from the first two stories, and really wants to bring it in as her own cat. Um, and while all this is going on, and while the parents are still kind of debating whether they want to keep this cat or not, um, the Drew Barrymore character has to deal with this little goblin guy that lives behind the walls of her room, and he tries to come in at night and tries to steal like the breath of the children or something like that, some mythical goblin thing. And the cat is involved with Drew Barrymore's character in getting rid of this little goblin guy once and for all, since she's been kind of terrorized by him for a really long time, and the parents don't believe anything about this little goblin creature. Um, so for the positives and negatives, you guys, I really enjoyed the first and the third story in this film. The one with the smoker and the one with Drew Barrymore trying to keep the cat, um, and with the little monster guy. Really well done stories. I really glad that this is kind of one of Stephen King's first tries at film, because it really shows that I could definitely see why a lot of producers and directors kind of saw this big potential with him, with those two stories alone, just because they are so well written and thus far, um, and thus the director can make such a great film based off those two stories. Um, Drew Barrymore's and James Woods' acting abilities are great in here. Really great performances from the two of them in this film. There is Stephen King story homages in this film, specifically near the beginning. There's a car that says "I am Christine" on it. That's kind of representing the book Christine that Stephen King wrote. There's also a homage to Cujo. There's kind of this big dog chasing the cat at the beginning, and based off what I think that was supposed to represent, that was supposed to kind of be the homage to Cujo. Once again, really clever from Stephen King. Um, the small monster battle, with the little goblin guy from the third story. Really well done battle between him and the cat near the end. Really, really well done. I don't know how they filmed it, but however they did it, it was a very well done scene. I like how the anthology establishment was very well done in this film. Almost as well done as the first Creepshow film. It really is that good. Uh, Almost every story in this film wraps around beautifully in some way. The cat's incorporated in a really neat way for each story. Just a really neat anthology establishment that they were able to get with this film. Um, I really like the cat in this film. A really talented cat. Wherever they found it, it was a very talented cat, because it definitely had a personality in this film, and I think that was really interesting. Um, like, it was able to look at certain things, and they were able to get it to do certain actions in the film that really blow my mind as to how they were able to get this cat to do all these things for all these shots in the film. Really talented cat. Wherever they found it, it was really talented in this film. Um, For the negatives, you guys, I did think the second story, the one dealing with the ledge hanger, the guy trying to hang and off the ledge and trying to work his way around the hotel building, really wasn't a huge fan of it. It was a very, I thought there was a lot of cardboard characters in it. Really didn't care about what was going on. Though there was kind of, edge of your seat at some parts of it. It just wasn't as good as the first and the third story. And I really think either with a better script portion for that story or just a better story in general, I think the film would have wrapped about even better with a better second story. Um, some of the character actions in this film are very extreme. Specifically in the first story, even though I love the first story, in fact, it's probably one of my favorite stories next to the third one. Um, there was just some really extreme things that these guys did to make sure that James Woods quit smoking. It's fine, I get it. It's kind of this short story that's kind of about these people going to extreme lengths to make sure that this guy quits smoking. But there was just some really extreme things that they did, and I don't know. Great story, but like I said, I think they could have done it in a more realistic manner. Um, Overall, I didn't think the film was as good as Creepshow 1. Very good film, definitely up there with Creepshow 1, but it's not better than Creepshow 1. So overall, guys, I do give Cat's Eye a 9 out of 10. It is a very well done film. If you like horror anthology films, make sure you check this out. It's a very well done film, very well written, specifically with the first and the third story, like I said. Like I said, second story I wasn't too huge on, just mostly because of the cardboard characters and kind of what was going on with that one. Um, but for the most part, guys, this film is really good. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's called Cat's Eye. It has Drew Barrymore on the cover with this big cat on the side of it. Really well done film. If you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you check out Cat's Eye, a really well done horror anthology movie.